Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Wildgate video. Today we're doing a tier list for all the different prospectors within the game, and to keep things interesting I broke it into three categories. We got offense, defense, and overall. This is my experience with the playtest, well over 100 hours in the playtest, and also talking with the community and all the other competitive players that I've met within this game to kind of get their feedback on who's good, who's bad, who's strong, who's weak. And I'm just going to teach you guys what I know, so that way you can focus on who you want to unlock and kind of pick a main that you want to get really good with when the game actually comes out. It should be out by the time this video comes out. So first up we got Venture. Venture is the poster boy. He's the guy that's on all the art. The media team loves him. He's everywhere. He's the first guy that you play when you log into the game. He's who you default to, but honestly starting off really weak. Spoiler, in my opinion, he's the worst character in the game. His perks are not super useful. One of his perks is the ability to not need air, so he can breathe in outer space basically. Of the entire playtest, I only died of oxygen deprivation 2 times, and it was when I was boarding an enemy ship and I just broke all their windows. So not a super powerful ability. He gets a little warning when somebody's behind him on a turret. The time to kill in this game is pretty quick. Like the rock one-shots you, a lot of things can kind of one-shot you, and to have the reaction speed to get a warning, then get off your turret, turn and face the enemy and engage them and win the fight, it doesn't really happen that much. So he's a little bit more of a defensive oriented character, so I'd say he's a little bit below average. He still has a decent health pool, but that warning system is basically useless. The only time you would get value is if your team is dying, or if the guy at the border that's behind you is too busy killing your teammates to kill you. That might give you a slight edge, but I've advocated that this guy needs a big buff. I'm just going to go ahead and throw him down in the F tier because he's pretty weak. He definitely needs a buff. One buff that I'd like to see, and I talked about it in my change video, is the ability to combine green items. There's a lot of things you could do with him, but if you could take like an ammo upgrade and a smuggler's turn and combine them to make a blue item and save yourself a hardpoint slot, that would be fantastic, and it would really kind of lean into the more defensive robot playstyle, and I think it would fit thematically with him. I think he needs a decent buff. I've never seen a competitive player actually using him in the game, so he does need a buff. Now flipping the script, we're going to Sal. Sal on offense is arguably a little bit lackluster. What he's got going for him is his big health pool. He cannot be weak shot, so when you're boarding, they have to go through your entire health pool. That just kind of applies to him overall. That's all he's got going offensively. He's really not that good. I'd even put him kind of down here. There's a lot better options for boarding, but flipping the script, he is arguably the best defensive character in the game. He, just shrinking it down so you can see the defensive word here. I should have planned that a little bit better. On defense, he is a staple. Every team, in my opinion, needs one because of a couple different things. Number one, his repair passive that allows him to repair multiple things, put out multiple fires at the same time. Super powerful, just great defensive option. It's all about action economy and making the most out of your time. The recycle function is one of the best abilities for any prospector in the game. Being able to throw away garbage gear is essential. Every ship has a limited amount of hard points. You often get components and stuff that you don't necessarily need, and on top of that, it's not just, you know, gambling for new loot. He has special items, special blue items that you cannot get anywhere else. You have to have a Sal on your team or steal it from another ship. That's the only way to get it. They don't drop organically in any kind of PvE. So his base kit is phenomenal. He's great on defense, arguably the best in the game. Overall, I'd say that he's probably A tier because he's such a staple and because he's so reliable. He's way up there. He's honestly an excellent character, and if you're looking for somebody that's really beginner friendly, he's right there for you. Going on to Samo. Samo is a completely defensive character. I'll put him kind of in C tier, maybe even D tier for offense. He's really not somebody that you're taking to go board the enemy ship. He just is an offensive player. His biggest thing, the thing that he's known for the most, is being able to see through walls when he's on his own ship, so playing defensively. I'd say that he's probably B tier. on defense. He's above average, but I don't know anybody playing this guy unironically to, when you have Sal on board, Sal is so much more of a powerhouse right now. Sal could honestly use a little bit of a nerf, or Samo could use a buff. He's good. He's above average defensively. He allows you to 1vx really well. One of his other passives is if he kills somebody on his own ship, he heals to full, and he has 120 health. So he can trade and fight off multiple borders at the same time. But honestly, unless a team is playing hyper aggressive and boarding with more than 2 people, you're almost never going to be fighting off more than 2. 2 is like kind of the staple. They almost always have somebody on their ship flying it, navigating, shooting guns, repairing, doing something on their own ship. They have their own Sal that's never really coming over to board you. So 1vx does happen, but it is rare, and you don't always get value from it. Sal, on the other hand, you always get value from his passives. Every single game you're recycling. Every single game you're repairing more than 1 hardpoint at a time. Not every single game does Samo get value. So overall, I'd say he's probably E tier. Could definitely use a small buff in some capacity. He's not the worst, right? His stuff is still useful situationally, and when that situation comes up, it is pretty nice to have. But when I think about balance, especially in this game, a little bit of my philosophy around game design and balance, especially in PvP games, is the entire game is based around action economy. It's how much can you do with your time. And when you take an efficient player and compare it to another efficient player, so 2 veteran players, which one is going to have an easier time getting stuff done? Sal is just so much better than Samo in all regards in that category. Adrian, I know a lot of people really like Adrian. I would say that he is kind of like the average across the board. He is the master of nothing, just a great overall pick. I don't know anybody that's going to be upset at you playing him. What he really has going for him is his mobility. His booster pack, or whatever it is, allows him to go gather ice and go gather fuel exceptionally fast. You can even use that inside of a ship to traverse inside the ship to get to the cockpit or get to other locations faster, to steal objects, or whatever the situation is. His traversal in outer space is better than anybody. He can travel farther. It's almost like he has a little turbine passive that he can constantly use. But outside of that, he doesn't have a super high health pool. His gadgets, and that's all I can really say, is he's kind of the white bread. His best thing is his mobility, but everybody else has decent mobility. They're not going to be able to cross massive voids in outer space, but most people have decent mobility, and you can spec into, like all the different characters, if you have a weak spot somewhere, you can spec into it. Like, Sal's multi-repair, there's obviously the drone that does that if you want to play somebody else and not play Sal. So something to keep in mind is that most of these characters are somewhat flexible. There's a lot of utility and equipment that can kind of fill the gap if you really like that aspect of a player. But what he does better than anybody is mobility, which puts him right in the middle. He's not exceptionally talented on offense or defense. He's just a decent overall pick. I don't know anybody that would be upset if you were playing him. Kay, on the other hand, Kay is really, really powerful. I would put her in A for offense, and I'd put her slightly above average on defense. Kay does a couple things really well. She is exceptional at boarding because her teleport it's not instantaneous, but the traversal is instantaneous. So if I'm trying to get across to the enemy ship, oftentimes their turret gunners can see me. Sometimes you get shot out of the air, or at a minimum, their turret gunner notices you and calls out that there's a boarder coming on board. She can kind of circumvent that warning and give you the element of surprise. If you bring a drill charge with her, you can go in through side doors that they don't expect you on. She is just overall really, really powerful. Her ability, her passive that allows you to interact with items more than 10 feet away is actually extremely useful. And once you play her, you can what happened to me was I played her so much, I started to crutch on that, and I missed it when I went to other characters, because there's a lot of things that you can do with that you might not realize. She can res teammates from 10 feet away. Your teammate breaches and dies on board, you can res without them even knowing that you're resing from outside the ship through a window or through a door. You can steal components from 10 feet away without exposing yourself. You can also loot PvE situations. So let's say you completed a PvE objective and you guys are all doing the loot run, transferring items back to your ship. She is by far the fastest at getting that done. I consistently would get 2 or 3 components in the time that it took my teammates to get 1. She is just an action economy machine. I would say that overall she's A tier. I might even put her in S tier for offense. She is so good at that, and she can support her team in so many different ways. She is, I think, probably my favorite character to play. She's extremely fun. Her one downside is her low health pool. So if you're playing defense, I'll actually bump her down to average on defense. She does not have a high health pool, so trading can be a little bit rough. With her, I would suggest bringing drill charges and the shield, the big deployable shield. It's really good for breaching, gives you cover, allows you to res teammates, and allows you to play defensively on your own ship. So both of those are really solid on her. Moffs. Moffs is in a tough spot. He has the lowest health pool in the game, so he dies extremely quickly. What he does really well, better than anybody, is steal stuff. But stealing stuff is situational. So, like I talked about with Samo, there are situations where Moff is going to make the play of the game. He's going to steal an item, a laser ram, a mine layer. He's going to steal an item that flips the battle for you and allows you to win. He's also good at stealing the artifact. So he's really good at stealing, but stealing in itself is not something that is always viable. Half the time, they don't have anything that you want. So it's nice, but you don't always get value out of it. His defensive abilities, I'd say that he is probably average on defense, maybe a little bit low. His health pool doesn't allow him to trade super well, but you can go invisible. You can actually go invisible on your ship, teleport back to refresh the invisibility, and stay invisible, which is kind of nice. So you can roam around your ship without revealing yourself. So if you know somebody's boarding, just go invisible on your own ship. I'm sorry, that might not be accurate. You might not be able to actually teleport and stay invisible, but if you have the recharge gadget, you can go invisible and then get in a fight. If you start to lose the fight at all, unless you die super fast because you have low health, you can teleport home, move to a different location randomly on the ship, go invisible again, and re-engage. So that defensively, he has some stuff going for him, but it's an uphill battle because of the health pool. He really excels when he's got the advantage, when he's got the surprise. So on offense, he's really good at stealing stuff, but his mobility is dog, which I'll put him probably in D tier overall because he's so situational. He's also extremely gadget dependent, which is frustrating because he doesn't have mobility. His mobility is his stealth. You have to bring mobility gadgets. You have to bring the boosters and all that stuff. The reason being is if a ship is traversing away from you, let's say you're chasing somebody, their ship is faster than you in open space, you can no longer board them. If you don't have mobility gadgets, you cannot board a ship that you're chasing. If the enemy is chasing you, he's fantastic because he can go invisible, like Kay, traverse that gap without being seen and board the enemy's ship because they're coming to you. But because of his lack of mobility, I'd say he's D tier. He might even be lower. He might even be E tier. He's extremely situational. I'm not saying he's not fun to play. Definitely give him a shot. There's going to be some people that make crazy plays with him. And he has the capability and the potential to make the game-winning play, but just overall, he's too situational to be useful. Ion, I know a lot of people kind of expect Ion to get immediately slammed into the S category overall. He is getting some pretty substantial nerfs with the launch patch, and we've talked about it. It's not direct nerfs to him, but it's nerfs to his preferred playstyle. This is the king of boarding. He is a monster at boarding. He is up there in the S tier for boarding, for sure. He can break down doors without any drill charges, so you do not need a drill charge to go through armored doors, and he can automatically reload anything that's in his off slot. So if whatever weapon you're not currently using gets automatically reloaded. So weapons like the double whammy become super powerful for him. He is also, by proxy because of that, a PvE god. Because you can run things like, my favorite combo is the double whammy and the minigun. You can go slay in PvE better than anybody. Because both of those weapons, the downside of those weapons is they have extremely long reload times. Well, with Ion, that's not an issue. So you can get consistent chip damage on enemy ships by shooting your double whammy, going to your minigun, playing the game a little bit, going to the double whammy, doing some chip damage, going back to the minigun. That's just repeatable, easy damage. I'm surprised the double whammy didn't get nerfed. So that double whammy is super, super powerful on him. You can break down doors like I talked about. Now, the nerfs, he got nerfed because the glass actually got buffed. The glass is no longer 2 hits to break into the cockpit, or whatever it was, 2 or 3 hits. It's now 10 melee hits for Ion. That's an eternity. So for Ion to be able to put pressure on a pilot, he now has to bring a drill charge. So his equipment slots get sacrificed, which is a pretty big nerf to him. But depending on your playstyle, you know, I really like the recharge gear when you teleport home. I hate hitting that terminal on the way out, but if you don't mind it, bringing drill charges and then something else, he's still really, really good. Like, there's nobody else that has a PvE kit like he does, and there's nobody else that can just break down doors like he can. You have to. A lot of other players, especially if they enjoy boarding, have to bring a drill charge. You don't. You can bring whatever else you want, and you can run the biggest weapons in the game with no real downside. So he is offensively just an absolute monster. I'd say defensively, he is pretty low. He's really not that good defensively. He has a good health pool. He can kill people with melee in 1 hit, so if they are boarding a door or coming through a choke point or something like that, you can kind of catch people off guard. That also applies offensively. That's just an overall thing. His melee is phenomenal, but defensively, there's no benefits in his perks or in his stat line or loadout that give him any kind of an edge defensively, other than his health pool. But a lot of people have that, so just he's not super good defensively. I'd say that he is on the border right there. I'd say that Sal is also probably kind of on the border now thinking back. I'd say Sal, because he's such a staple in the game, and I feel that every crew really needs him today. He's really good. He's definitely S tier. I'd put K down here at A tier. From a fun factor, in my opinion, Kay is the most fun character in the game. She's just so awesome to play. And I'll put Ion up here right on the line. He's like S-. He was S+, probably the best in the game in the most recent playtest. But with the nerfs that they keep consistently hitting for the boarding teams, he has fallen off just a little bit. And I'll say that Sal, being the staple character, is S tier, and then Ion is right there after him. I would say the best team in the game, unfortunately, is probably 1 Sal and 3 Ions, or maybe 2 Ions and a K, because the action economy alone is absurd. Fastest looters in the game, best PvE in the game, best defensive character in the game. You're a very well-rounded, well-balanced team. So if you're looking for a roster and you're trying to put together something competitive, these are this is kind of what you're looking at. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sure that some of you disagree, and there's other things that I didn't talk about that you want to point out about your favorite character. Leave a comment. Let me know how smart or how dumb I am, because I do appreciate it. I do read all the comments, and some of them I even respond to. So thanks for watching, guys. See ya.